went out has nothing to do with this message. And they said at the end, God's going to change the world through small churches. Now, just a few months ago, if you wasn't a mega church, nobody thought that you even mattered. But mega churches right now, with this social distancing and everything else that they got to deal with, you think we got problems. Their problems are times 10. They can't even meet. So I believe that that was not a contrary prophetic word. I think that a lot of the world's going to be changed by small churches. Guess what one small church's name is? How many of you all, if y'all got a temple of love, praise in the house, I believe that we're going to bring some change to the world. Psalm 37 verses 1 through 10. This is a word that I think so many of you all need because you've asked questions, why so much? Psalm 37 verses 1 through 10, it reads as follows: And Jacob dwelt in the land where his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren. And the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when the brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren. They hated him yet the more. Y'all ever had somebody hate you for a dream? And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, and shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed another dream, and told it his brethren. Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. His father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come down to bow ourselves to thee in the earth? I like to hang my hat. Verse 11 actually said, And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. I like to hang my hat on Genesis 37 verse 4, where it reads as follows: And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. Saint Son will never have anything good to say about you. God's favor on your life, your personal giftings, and your God-given dreams have some where they can't even say a decent word about you. They walk around with rocks in their jaws, just waiting to malign your name in some way or another. Joseph, being the favored child of Jacob, made his brothers to fester and to boil with envy, jealousy, evil thoughts, evil words, and evil intentions towards Joseph. Well, my brothers and sisters in Christ, doesn't that explain much in your life? Some have seen that God's favor has been upon your life. So don't you dare think that this designation won't come with a price. For a few minutes today, I'd like to share with you about the cost of God's favor. The cost of God's favor. Everybody wants to talk about God's favor, but how many of y'all know there's a cost of God's favor? I would often like to, that word favor in the dictionary means approval, God's support, or liking, to feel or show approval or preference for. Saint, there's hardly anything in the world like having God's favor upon your life. It's indeed refreshing to know that you don't have to depend on the whims of men for your uplift. The favor of God upon your life will cause you to stand out in a world where so many are just content with fitting in. Nothing is greater than when people start to look for the origins of your rise, and they don't see that you don't have a hookup. They see that you don't have connections, and sometimes you don't even have a degree. Then they start to investigate whether you're doing something underhanded or not. After all of their investigating, they are left with no other explanation than the favor of God is upon your life. The favor of God in the last few years in the church has been equated with stuff. So there are some that feel that God's favor has eluded them because they don't have a lot of things. Well, my brothers and sisters in Christ, some see the favor of God upon your life when you keep the soundness of mind despite all the things that you've been through. The late Charles Haddon Spurgeon spoke powerfully about how the soundness of mind is a sign of God's favor on your life. Saints, you know that many would be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if they had gone through half of the stuff that you've already been through. There are a whole lot of folks with more stuff, more education, more connections, and more fame in our mental institutions. So whatever your financial condition may be, if your mind is sound, then that's a sign of God's favor upon your life. There are people that are much wealthier, and they have discovered that the favor of God, as A.W. Tozer once extolled, can't be bought. The favor of God ain't for sale. Saints of God, the favor of God is simply not fair. Proverbs 12 verse 2 said that a good man obtaineth favor of the Lord, but a man of wicked devices will he condemn. It's an awesome privilege to know that the God of all the universe has your life in mind for preferential treatment. God's favor upon one's life is an awesome thing, but please, my brothers and sisters, know that this level of favor doesn't come with a cost. Saints, God's favor on Joseph in this text attracted his brothers' hate. The favor of God on Joseph's life had his brothers even hating his dreams. It's totally mind-boggling that someone can hate your dreams. Saints, it's possible that some in the streets don't like you for no other reason than your gift and your dreams. Just because God gave you a coat of many colors or a coat called favor upon your life, some will hate you, some will lie on you, and some will malign your name. Have any of you all ever had any favor haters? Anybody had any favor haters in the house? Let's stop being spooky spiritual. Some in life will hate you for being petite. Did y'all hear that one? Some will hate you for your freckles. Some will hate you for your shape. Some will hate you for being light-skinned. Some will hate upon you for being dark-skinned. How many foolish fights have started over these jealous-hearted words that she thinks that she's cute, or he thinks that he's so much? Saints, the worst fights have started from envy and jealousy. Saints of God, God created you himself. And if God made you easy to look at, I'm speaking a word about y'all, Temple of Love. If God made you easy to look at, then don't you dare allow the favor haters to rob you of your peace of mind. Saints, God has given you a coat of many colors called favor, and there will be a price for you wearing it. Can you stand to be favored, saints? Can you stand the looks? Can you stand the stares? Can you stand the jealousy? Can you stand the envy? Can you stand the rumors? And can you stand the hate? Yes, my brothers and sisters, the favor of God comes with a cost. I know personally that at times we can wonder how and where a verbal attack can come out of nowhere. There are literally people that you have done nothing to and said nothing about and meant no harm to that will assault your name. They'll throw out innuendos and they'll dish out Facebook shade at you all the day long. I'm speaking to you and I'm telling them it's not my fault. It was God's decision to favor me. It wasn't because I've been so good. It wasn't because I've been so worthy, but God had a plan for my life even before I was born. So don't blame me. You need to blame God. So I'm not going to answer anyone's shade on Facebook for a call that God made upon my life before I was born. Let me interject a preach Steve right there. Matthew 5 verse 11 and 12 from the NIV reads as follows, Jesus talking, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Be happy about it," Jesus said. "Be very glad, for a great reward awaits you in heaven. And remember, the ancient prophets were persecuted in the same way. Jesus said this, so this is a rhema word from God. Some folks will talk about you. Some folks will insult you. Some folks will flat out lie on you. Some will hatch plots. Some will devise schemes on you in the workplace. But Jesus said, be happy about it. Jesus said, be glad about it. For a great reward awaits you in heaven. And remember, the ancient prophets were persecuted the same way. When your favor haters do any of these things, when you haven't done anything to them, then you know that you're walking in your call. Yes, saints of God, God's favor has a cost. Your name will stay in some folks' mouth. Did you hear that one? Because of your call to Christ. It simply comes with the territory. Saints, it's the cost of entry to the great things of God. Don't allow anyone to talk you out of the benefits of having God's favor on your life. I know that it's tiring to have your name carried from one desk to another. It gets old. It's frustrating. It's tiring. But God's favor on your life will come with a cost. Did you think that you would just sail through life on flowery beds of ease? Saints, when some discern the favor of God upon your life, it launches them into plans and schemes that will keep them up all night. Let them scheme, let them plot. God's favor on your life will cover you. Genesis 50, verse 20. It reads as follows, but Joseph talking, but as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as this day, to save much people alive. Saints, for all your favor haters planning, all of their scheming, all of their lying, and all of their hating, God will use the very same things to bless your life. Their hates and plots are flattened by the favor of God on your life. Speak that over yourself. Just say God's favor. Say it up over yourself. God's favor, and say your name. God's favor, and say your name. God has designated Temple of Love for preferential treatment. He's destined us for victory. God's going to cause Temple of Love to be that city on the hill that can't be hid. Yes, even in a pandemic, God's favor will be ours. There aren't many of us here, but I declare to you that via social media, they will be watching us by the thousands and the tens of thousands. Temple of Love don't despise the day of small things. Greater is coming. Saints, we're about to reach the world. God's favor is upon this ministry. But please know, just like some of our brothers are just like Joseph. Mike, I'm telling you, there's some of the brothers that sold Joseph into slavery and lied on Joseph, that we got some that got collars. We got some that got chains. And did I say that? Some in the same neighborhood that got chains, that all of a sudden caring about this little small fry in a corner over here that he ain't got no business caring about, and they caring about who is in the corner. So just like Joseph had some enemies, we got some enemies. And you're going to have some saints when God's favor is on your life. They're going to come out the woodworks. They're going to come and they're going to lie on you. Yeah, they know you got a nice shape. And just because you got a nice shape, they right at the job, they want to start some mess. They right at the you get a new car, they want to start some mess. You got a new house, you got a new boo. They say, because I know that y'all seen some sister walking with a good looking brother, and you ask, how in the world is she? You may not know, but maybe it was the favor of God upon her life. She ain't got to have no explanations, and he following behind her like wherever she go, and I try to figure it out. But I'm telling you that God's favor on your life, nobody will ever know where it comes from. So I'm telling you, will you be ready? That's my question to you, saints of God. Are you ready for the attack? Are you ready for the assault? Are you ready to have a problem? Are you prepared for those who will hate on your dream? Are you ready for the attacks from your own family because of God's favor on your life? Saints, will you be able to withstand the attacks on your dreams and goals at the family reunion? All y'all got the same big old nose. and the same lips and the same mole on the same side. But since you start going to that sanctified church, all of a sudden they got a problem with you. They loved you all the time when you were going to the no name, the club without the name, that 4069 Lamar. I used to go myself. And I'm telling you right now, but when you change sides, when you change in the middle of the game, all of a sudden they got a problem with you, that you in this sanctified church. Grandmama would roll over in her grave if she knew that you wasn't still going to First Baptist Church of the Dead, and you then left and went to this sanctified church, and now they talk about you at every family reunion. You come in to have a good time with the family, and now you leave crying because now you got attacked coming from a family. I had a brother coming to me recently, and he meant well. He told me that he would be watching me to make sure that I walk circumspectly. I told them, brother, I've been watched all of my life. So being watched isn't a new thing for me. Saints, if God's call is great enough, then you better get used to the watchers. How many of y'all know you're going to have some watchers? You know who the watchers are? They're the watchers are the people who literally watch everything you do, and they never admit it. They won't like a single Facebook post of yours, but they'll never miss seeing one of them. Yes, saints of God, God's favor upon your life will come with a price. The question of the hour is, will you pay the price? And I'm telling you, saints of God, that I ain't new to it, but I'm true to it. I'm telling you that I've been through, I get insulted because your name's going from one mess to the next. I'm just sitting here working hard, staying late, and then people put your name on the highway. It gets old. You're the one working late. You're the one getting there on time. And when you get something new, they got a problem with you. They didn't have no problem when they had the new ride. They didn't have no problem when they had the new whip. They didn't have no problem when they had the new hair. They didn't have no problem when they had this and that. But when you start coming up, when you start showing the rewards of fruitfulness, all of a sudden they got a problem with you. Folks, God's favor upon your life will have a cost. Don't stop walking. Don't stop blooming. Don't stop growing. Let God bless you. You walk in a building. Walk with your head up high. Get your head off the ground. Look high. He's a God that sits high and looks low. I'm coming to let you know that he's a God that called you the apple of his eye. His eye is upon you. Saints of God, I feel a preach deep from down on the inside. I know you're watching me. You've been watching me all my life. You got the title. I got the oil. I'm speaking this to you, that God's about to do it. You sit back. Take notes. Keep notes. But God's about to do it. Right over here. We off in the middle of nowhere. But God's about to do it. I see you watching Bishop. I see you watching Apostle. I see you watching Mega Church Preacher. But God's about to do it. I'm telling you, saints of God. Yes, they talk about you, Aunt Trees. That ain't nothing new. They talk about you, Melanie. You ain't nothing new to you. They don't talk until the cows come home. But when folks see the hand of God on your life, Mother Bell, they were good with you until they start seeing you with that red thing outside. Now that you got that red thing, now they got a problem with you. They ain't have no problem when you didn't have no air. They ain't have no problem when you didn't have no clothes. They ain't have no problem when you wore them shoes from chamber labor. But now all of a sudden, that God is changing something. That you ain't gotta go to first. You ain't gotta go to Sanders. But now when they see you in a better place to cross town, now they got a problem with it. Saints of God, the favor of God comes to the coast. Saints of God, God is lifting you high. Can you stand it? do with you. If God bless you to have some stuff in your trunk and her husband looking, she needs to deal with his eyes. That's her problem and not yours. Saints of God, God made you like He made you. God lifted you like He lifted you. I'm telling you, you better get used to folks not liking you. You better get used to folks lying on you. Folks can leave behind the scenes all you want. Saints of God, I come in contact with who God called me to be. Yeah, you're watching me, Bishop. I know you are. And I don't care about all the rumors. I don't care about all the phone calls. I can see I'm in the same neighborhood. Saints of God, I said it. I'm not scary. I said it. What God is about to do in your life, they can't stop it. They can't block it. God's about to do it. Kim, God's talking to you. He's about to do it. He's about to do it. Can you stand here back? Can you stand being talked about? Can you stand being lied on? Saints of God, I'm glad that the favor of God is upon my life. I know it comes with a cost. As temple love, I'll tell you that I'm willing to pay the price, to pay the cost, to pay the toll, to pay the cost, to be the boss. Saints of God, I'm telling you, I came with a preach from way down on the inside. I know I've been here. I missed God for a long time. I was off my way. I lost my way. But this morning found home. I found home. I come back to who God created me to be. Saints of God, I'm speaking that to you. The favor of God, it comes with a price. My prayer to you, my prayer to you all, is that you pay the price. Don't let God, anybody make you walk away from God's promise. Don't let anyone make you sit down when God called you to stand up. Don't make nobody know about your life to make you fit in when God called you to stand out. Saints of God,